In other news tonight, the Spokane Area National Organization of Women is calling on city leaders to speak out against domestic violence.
That was in response to Phil Tyler, another leader in our community, under fire for allegations of past incidents of domestic violence. Tonight we're hearing from the Spokane County Sheriff on the matter.
KREM 2's Lindsay Nadrich spoke with him this afternoon, as well as the women's organization.
Here's a quick recap of what we told you yesterday.
Every 98 seconds, an American is sexually assaulted.
1 in 4 women will be sexually assaulted in her lifetime.
Most victims are under 30 years old, and 15% are under 17.
As men, we must not stay silent.
This We Will Rise video featured Spokane County Sheriff Ozzie Knezevich, Spokane Police Chief Craig Meidel, Spokane Fire Chief Brian Schaefer, and Mayor David Condon. It was orchestrated by Phil Tyler, the former president of Spokane's NAACP chapter. It calls for men to take a stand against sexual harassment and sexual assault. After this video, we had some people come forward, expressing concerns about Tyler spearheading this kind of campaign in light of reports of his past treatment of women. On top of that, this week, the Inlander ran an article using interviews and court records from Tyler's 3 ex-wives. In that article, each tells a similar story of abuse from years ago. Tyler denies their accounts of what happened. The Spokane Area National Organization of Women released a statement yesterday calling for city leaders featured in the We Will Rise video to release their own statements regarding domestic violence.
The mayor, the chief, the fire chief, and I stepped up for the women of our community, not for Phil Tyler, but for the women of our community. We did a video for the women of our community so they can be safe and feel safe in our community.
Sheriff Knezevich also pointed to his track record of repeatedly taking a stand against domestic violence.
From the time that the Y lost the funding, the grant funding, to keep the DV team together, I advocated and went to the mayor and the Board of County Commissioners for 4 straight years to ensure that that funding was solid.
The sheriff says he's helped numerous nonprofits get off the ground to teach younger generations about domestic violence, and says he regularly speaks on community panels addressing the issue. It's something he's extremely passionate about.
For 28 years, I've had to investigate domestic violence issues. In this county, it is the leading cause of homicides. We take this very seriously, to the point that the sheriff's office brought the lethality assessment program to this area and trained every agency in the area how to use it. Why? To stop our female friends from dying.
The lethality assessment program helps officers identify victims who are at the greatest risk of being hurt or killed and gets them help. The sheriff says more than 80% of homicides in the county are domestic violence related. In response to NOW's call for leaders to release statements, SPD Chief Craig Meidel, Fire Chief Brian Schaefer, and Mayor Condon released a joint statement yesterday. It says, the allegations are very serious. Violence against women is a problem plaguing our country and dominating headlines nationally. And Spokane is no different. Too many women are victims, and we have more speaking up every day. But while the statement refers to allegations and domestic violence, it never directly mentions Tyler. So I met up with now President Amber Reed again today.
One of the statements that I found concerning was that they talked about, this is dominating headlines, and really any violence against women shouldn't have to dominate a headline in order for it to garner attention from our local leaders.
Reed would like to see leaders take steps to help reduce domestic violence.
I'd like to know what steps they're going to take to be proactive about preventing these things instead of being reactive.
Both the sheriff and NOW plan to meet to talk about domestic violence in our community.
I want to know what they've been doing and how they can maybe step up and help us stop domestic violence.
I'd love to do a roundtable discussion with multiple stakeholders, really. Anybody from the YMCA or the YWCA, Lutheran Community Services, any victim advocates, anyone who really needs a seat at the table.
I'm Lindsay Nadrich, KREM 2 News.